All right, y'all, we're back. Took a month off. Behind the Gate, episode 13, aka what's Snapback? The
Snapback Bros of Greensboro.
your favorite Greensboro based snapback program. We're here with my buddy Sammy. Sammy is one of the most eccentric people I've ever met, and I'm not sure if that's the word I meant to use, but he's just full of life energy. He's a lot of fun to be around. If you know him, you love him. He is a property manager, TikTok star, has some Rolling Stone shit that's happened in his life. So he's also a friend, first and foremost, and a client as well. And so wanted to have him on to talk about some of those things. Sammy, thank you for being here, buddy.
It is my pleasure. I'm so proud of you and your podcast journey. And I'm very curious to see where this would take you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing it for fun. It's all about you guys. We want to highlight people that I think are just fucking cool, that live in our city of Greensboro. And again, so happy you're here. So let's get into it. Let's start kind of where your love for real estate and property management came from. And let's take it back to old Danville, Virginia.
I'm from Providence, North Carolina, but my mom worked in Danville, Virginia, and she was in the real estate business. I think she worked as a showing agent. I think back then in Virginia, you could work the front desk and kind of like, she was pretty much a leasing agent for single family homes. And then the company took on some apartment complexes and just kind of watched her get her real estate license. I was always around property management, her and her friends. And one of my first jobs actually was cleaning the breezeways when I was 14. Just to, she'll write me a little check. I'll go out there, sweep the breezeways. And I've just always been around it.
What was breezeway sweeping paying back then?
Oh, like $100 a week.
That's it.
Mom, I'm very spoiled.
What's it paid now?
I don't know. If I have to pay someone to clean the breezeways, it's a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
But I manage huge apartment complexes, so there's more breezeways. But I'm a very spoiled person. My sisters, my mom, my dad, they wanted me to focus on my education, and they just kind of just took care of me otherwise.
I don't think you're spoiled.
I am spoiled, and I will proudly scream that from the rooftops.
But here's what I'll say. Okay. From a client perspective, if 10 was the scale of really needy and 1 was like, this person is the most calm, cool, doesn't need anything from me, just easy going, I would put you higher on the scale. You're definitely not a 10. Mm-mm. I would put you on like a 6 or 7, but you have a vision, you know what you want, and you stick with it. So, I don't think you're spoiled per se. You just know what you want and you go after it. That's not a bad thing.
I just want the essentials. Even when I was younger, I just wanted the essentials. Give me something to eat. I know every time that I would get up and I had to drive myself to school. In high school, I wasn't allowed to ride the bus. Something happened in junior high. I don't want to talk about it. But pretty much I got suspended off the buses indefinitely. You should not throw things at the bus driver, okay? That is on me. But she hated me. But anyway, like my dad would like leave me money on the counter, enough to get some gas in the car, some lunch, and then come home. So I really didn't ask for a lot. It was just handed to me.
Yeah.
Growing up.
For some reason, when you were explaining your dad leaving money behind, I just get this image of the movie Step Brothers with what's his name? Not Will Ferrell, but the other guy. Dale was his name in the movie.
I'm in my 40s now. I was in my teens, so I wasn't really working. But I was a straight A student. He wanted me to focus on my studies in school and not really have to worry about a job, which is very fortunate. A lot of people who grew up around my time, with the whole LGBT kind of thing, that people were getting kicked out of their homes. But my support system was absolutely phenomenal with my family. So I think they really just wanted me to focus on trying to get out of that small town so I could flourish to be the person I want to be.
No, that's awesome. And I've met your dad before. Your dad's
he's a hoot, ain't he?
He's a fun dude. He's a fun dude. So moving past that, you're older now. You said you focused on your education. It's kind of come back full circle. You've been in property management for how long now?
I would say really close, a little over 15 years.
A little over 15 years.
Yeah.
Let's start in the beginning of kind of how that started for you, and let's talk about that journey and, taking you to where you're at now.
Absolutely. So one of my official jobs in the industry was being a leasing agent for for student housing. That was so much fun working around all those young students, leasing them apartments because you lease by the bedrooms. And then sometimes you'll have random roommates. Sometimes you walk in with your friends and you got 4 leases in just one tour because they all want to live together. And you got paid commission per bedroom, per lease. And so I was very appreciative of the experience, but I wanted more of not just working in student housing a lot. I wanted to work in multifamily in every different aspects, like my mom. And then I left the company. I got an opportunity to be the assistant manager. And my boss was absolutely nuts. I'm talking like when you talk to her, she'll be asleep for 5 seconds. She was probably on some pills. I don't know, allegedly. And I just like, what is this woman doing? Why am I doing her job and all these other jobs? And I kind of felt like I was doing all the work. I might as well get paid to do all the work. And so after I took her job, that she gave up because she got fired because she wasn't doing her job. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I didn't throw nobody under the bus or anything. I really liked it. And I was just flourishing in that market. And I really cared about the residents. And I think that really sets me apart from majority of the property managers, especially in the triad. I kind of talk to them, or I kind of reference them as corporate robots.
Yeah.
They look all the same from head to toe. They're wearing suits, they're wearing ties, they're wearing dress shoes. That is not me. I've never been a cookie cutter. I've always prided myself on being myself, even at work. And I like to have fun at work. And I kind of felt like some of these larger corporations, they want those cookie cutters.
Yeah.
So if you go from one property to another, they're all going to look the same. I view shopping for an apartment kind of like you want to walk. As soon as you walk in, you want to feel like your family. You want to be approachable. You want to be able to be relatable. And I know if I'm looking for a home and I go somewhere to an apartment complex and this guy's wearing a power suit, power tie, no music playing in the office, you can hear crickets or a pin drop. I don't want to live there because I feel like those kinds of people don't have any personality, or it's not going to be a very comfortable place to live.
Yeah. To me, that is when I see that, right? And not to take away from that style. I think the reason that style was created is because it's easier to create that and replicate it than it is to replicate an individual like you. Like, oh man, we can go find a Sammy, or we can find something where if somebody knows how to wear a suit and tie and can talk to somebody.
You're not going to find another Sammy.
Exactly.
But
right. That's the thing. They're not going to. So I don't want to disrespect that business model. But when I see that, I think to myself, I immediately know that I am a statistic in a back office conversation of hitting a quota, right? I'm no more than that to this person standing in front of me. When I walk into somebody like you, it's like, okay, this guy's not worried about a quota. His places are full. He's worried about taking care of the residents. And you might say, well, hey, you work for the apartment complex. Well, yeah, absolutely. But if my residents are happy, my rent's going up, my vacancy's going down, they're taking care of their places better. So there's a level of like, you want to like your landlord. And I think it's just kind of this thing that I see in the industry that in business that we've taken over, like landlords just don't want to do anything in property management. It's like the tenant's bad. Tenant's bad. You know, everybody's a liar. Tenant's bad. Yada yada. So it's refreshing to hear you say that. Anyway, I went on a tangent. Continue, buddy.
No, you, and I'm glad you bring that up. You have to look at it like there's millions and millions and millions of people in the world. Not everyone.
Technically billions, Sammy.
Well, if you say enough millions, it equals billions.
Okay. Just
so
it's a lot of millions.
But okay, I'll do you one better. There are millions and millions of people living in apartments. Right? Would you agree with that?
Potentially billions.
A couple of reasons why is that they can't afford a home, or they like to travel a lot. They don't want to be in one area for more than a year. It's very convenient to get an apartment. I think that the market is, apartments are always going to be here because people need housing. But when you come and live with me in one of my apartments, you're not treated as a resident unless you break the rules. And I will remind you of the rules. But I want to drive through the property. I want to hang out my window. I have a megaphone, and I would just scream at the residents, "Hey, have a good day." Just fun stuff.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like it's more of a community, and that you can come in my office. Let's cry. Let's laugh. Let's come in there and just start screaming about your work orders. I'm going to scream back at you. We're just going to have a really good time, and we're going to hug it out. I feel like a lot of these places, they don't have that relationship with their tenants.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, especially on Google, I took over this property that I'm currently at now. The Google reviews were 1.9. There are 3.8 right now, in just a matter of 3 months, just from the tenants coming in saying, "Thank you. Thank you so much for filling the potholes." They should have got done a long time ago. That's a whole different story. Deferred maintenance, especially in these apartment complexes. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for putting my work order in. Thank you for just listening to me complain. I really think letting your spirit shine through with your tenants, like you said, turnover rate's low. You're able to get the higher rents with renewals. People want to stay because when they leave, they come back to you and like, "This was horrible. No one's ever in the office. No one's answering my emails." I work till 12 a.m. I respond to emails from my residents until 12 a.m. and then I put my phone down.
Yeah.
And I make myself available to them, even when I'm on vacation, just so they can have that lifeline.
And I'm sure they still respect you, need your time.
Oh, 100%. And when something happens, like I had a tree fall on a building.
Gee.
And I had to displace 8 families. It was all over the news. The way I spoke to them and the way I helped them, and I brought them all together along with the Red Cross and the owners of the property, we were able to create a space for them or put them in hotels or put them in other units. We went to Target. We got shampoos and toilet papers just to provide them. That extra step is what people want, especially when they're renting from your place.
No, I love that. And what I really heard there, and you ended up saying, was you just took the time to listen.
Just listen.
They just wanted to know that they'd be heard. They can look, and here's tough conversations with tenants, they can handle it. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm not going to be able to get to that this month. And here's why. Mm-hmm. Here's the plan behind that.
Do not lie to them.
Yeah. It goes a lot longer than just either not answering, pushing it down. And, I get the whole deferred maintenance, owning property is not cheap. And sometimes you can't replace every HVAC unit in the same month. Like that's a lot of money out the door.
But when I was doing, I worked for some syndicated groups in Savannah, Georgia, and they had like a little Cardinal property. And what a Cardinal property is essentially a double wide trailer put together to make an apartment complex. They're super cheap. They were really popular in the 70s and 80s. You may come across some here and there a little bit, but there were no subfloors. And when I got to the property and I was kind of walking the units and they wanted to know why we have 40 vacants on this 100-unit property in Savannah, Georgia. And my question to the owner was, did you do your due diligence? Did you come to this property? Did you walk every unit? Did you take pictures? He said, yes. I said, well, you do realize 20 apartments have no floors. You open the door, you see the ground in every single room. Oh, no, I must have missed that. Okay, so you did not do your due diligence, because if you would have walked every single apartment out here, you would have saw all the mold issues. You would have saw the parking lot. You would have saw the roofs, the HVAC systems. I can't put people in these homes. You don't have enough capital to fix these apartments up to lease them out. And I think that's one of we could talk all day about syndicated groups, but we got other things to discuss. But, it's just these owners, most of them want to purchase property, do a couple things here and there and sell. It's the sell game. Especially the past couple of years, these apartment complexes are turning hands over and over and over. But the residents are the ones that are suffering.
Yeah.
the most out of this. You take a property, someone lived there for 20 years. When they first rent it, their rent was $350. If their rent did not gradually increase every year that they lived there, a new owner comes in and says, we don't want to take vouchers no more. Everyone that lives here has to move out. That little old lady who's been there for 20 plus years has a Section 8 voucher for $350 that is paying her rent, now has to go out into the world where that one bedroom 20 years ago was like $300, $1,200 now. Shell shock. And that's what I mean by the residents are being affected more with these changeover of ownerships.
It's tough out there, man. When I can't tell you how many applications we've taken that even just getting a call back, hey, it's not going to work out. Thank you for your application. Have you looked at this property? Or tell me about your story. Maybe what I saw on their credit profile was not ideal. I know they're struggling in the world. These are things that we'll do, and it sets you apart, and it kind of keeps your pipeline full because, hey, Sammy, I know we talked 2 months ago. How's it going? Have you found a permanent residence? I know I've got a property coming up I think fits it. Take a look. It's small things like that help you keep your vacancy levels low. And I forget where I was going with that. My coffee's kicking in. But really, it's just, it's different, man. It's a different vibe. And yeah, that same back to the Section 8, yeah, she's going to get a new voucher, but let's talk about that.
Section 8 in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm not afraid to say this, and you might want to beat me out here, fucking sucks. I know someone who works in the housing authority. They all quit. They're having people from outside come in. You call, COVID happened, no one was returning the call. It took me 3 months to get a HAP contract signed. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that I got that HAP contract signed was because I included everyone in the same email, the president, vice president, COO, all the board members, every person's email at the housing authority that I had. And I started my email off like this. What the is going on? And I continued my email. Why am I waiting 3 months for this? Like, I cussed that entire email.
Yeah.
Within 20 seconds, I had that HAP contract. I should not have to behave that way to get my residents' money so the rent could get paid.
Well, the worst part about that, and I know the feeling.
I showed up and I was knocking on the windows of the building. They're all inside.
I know you were.
With the doors locked.
I didn't go that far. My bad.
No, I showed up because I have a job to do. I got to get these vouchers good because I like to keep all my contracts and everything that I have all together for the residents. And they'll try calling. They won't call them back because one caseworker will have 750 caseloads for one person, and that's on the government.
That's insane.
The caseloads are too high. They don't want to hire no one, and the pay is. She was working with over 1,000 clients, Section 8, and I think she was making like less than $40,000 a year.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's a stressful environment. The last one we did, one of our agents, clients bought it. Agent called us. Hey, I know you guys got a management company. Take it over. I looked at it. Probably wasn't, the way we're set up, we typically, and this is not a push, just the way we're set up, we don't take a lot of properties that are under 1,500. And that's just because we don't have a lot of salary money. We don't have a lot of people on staff. And so, we just take higher properties, and that's just what makes us go. Some friends and clients along the way have had some lower price rentals, and we've slowly started working those into our business model and becoming good at them. Mm-hmm. And so we took this property on, and Tenant was already in place, had been in place. So
they probably lived there for years.
Yeah, all we're trying to do is transfer getting where the money goes so that we can now pay the new owner who is now our client. Mm-hmm. It took almost 50 days.
For one person.
Our client's looking at us like, you're inept. I'm like, dude, you've been copied on every single email. We're doing what I can. I almost lost the client because me and him ended up getting into it. And I finally had to take a step back and go, you know what? I'm approaching this with the wrong energy, and I apologized to him. I said, but just know we're working hard over here. Megan's working hard, and I felt like he kind of talked negatively to my assistant, and that's why I got more aggressive with him. But it was, yeah, dude, it was a month and a half just to transfer where the damn money's going. Everything else was good.
Andrew, that's one person.
Yeah.
When I take over an apartment complex, and let's say it's 100, I like using round numbers, 100 units. 75 residents have a voucher. Imagine trying to do that for 75 people. When we go in, you have to sign all new leases. You got to re-inspect everything. You have to put all this packet together to send to them. They never respond. 2 months goes by. And then all of a sudden, on the 6th month, after the mortgage was due on the property 3 times already, you get a huge payment.
Yeah.
Right? And it's still all wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't know what type of level of intelligence is needed to work at the Greensboro Housing Authority for them to just sign a piece of document that you already spend hours filling out. And don't get me started on rent comps. Let's say I want to raise the rent to $800 and they've been paying $650. Section 8 has the money, but you have to write down 3 rent comps. You're doing half the job for them.
Yeah.
And all they got to do is like type it in. And it's good to go. And it just blows my mind. I love Section 8. The program works. It's amazing for people who actually need it. I think we need more properties in Greensboro that accept Section 8. I believe that may be coming soon worldwide, or at least here in the States, because people are being pushed out of their homes. People need housing, and they cannot afford it because the rent is so high.
It is.
And I've been a property manager for a long time, and I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. But this is my job. This is my career. I know where we're heading. I know where it's trending, and it's getting too high for people, especially if the cost of living is not increasing.
No, the cost in rent and housing in general, when you look at the wages, is just completely inflated.
Something needs to happen. Something needs to shift. Someone needs to say, hey, listen, this is the rent cap. We can't go any higher. I'm so sorry. You're losing people left and right. I don't think it's right to have A+ property rents when your assets is C-.
Yeah.
You know, because if I'm going to spend $2,000 on rent, I want a pool, a jacuzzi, I want marble countertops, everything. I want a smoothie bar. I want someone to deliver my coffee in the morning. I mean, those are the expectations with that price tag. There you have it.
That's a lot for $2,000 a month.
Hey, you should see what I would do for $2,100 a month.
All right, we kind of went down a negative light there, but I love that you're shining light on that, because a lot of people don't really understand how Section 8 works.
It's an amazing program, and people have this thing that it's the ghetto, it's hood. They have roaches. No, the Section 8, when it works, they inspect that house. It gets inspected before they move in. It gets inspected while they live there from their inspections department. I mean, they get more inspections than someone who is in market rate.
Yeah, and in the few that we've handled, you know, getting it to where the Section 8 will allow the voucher to even be there. I mean, dude, the checklist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we had to do a lot to that property just for them to even say, hey, we'll allow a tenant to be here.
They walk around with a prong and make sure every outlet works. Your GFI works, your hot water, smoke detectors, the inspections and crazy, which is good. I mean, that's how I inspect my apartments for market rate residents who don't have a voucher. I'm glad that I had that training over my career to where I could do tax credit, I can do Section 8, I could do marketing, I can do student housing. So pretty much every little aspect of apartments I have done.
I love it, man. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's do some rapid fire questions.
Oh, Lord.
You're a Greensboro-based guy now. I know you have your opinions, and typically when you have one, they're pretty strong. So
That's not the truth. You always ask me questions when I've been drinking.
Well, you've been drinking water today, so
Yes.
a completely
All water.
sober Sammy. Let's start with an easy one. Favorite restaurant in Greensboro?
Hops.
Hops.
On Lawndale.
Lawndale. Okay.
Not Hops on Spring Garden. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. Is it just the people, or because
It's
the food's the same?
No, the food is most definitely not the same.
Okay.
And this is my opinion, and you can come for me in the comments if you want to. I just think that Hops on Spring Garden is too small. I'm a bigger dude. I need room, and I feel like everyone there has an attitude problem.
Okay.
Now, however, Hops on Lawndale, I know every single person there because we cross paths over our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the Christmas party every year, and they really do take care. It's all about taking care of your clientele.
Absolutely.
They walk by, other servers wave, how you doing? Even if it's not your table, they'll swing by, make sure you got a refill. I just think Hops on Lawndale is superior.
Yeah.
In Greensboro.
And we've got some friends in management over there.
We do, and that helps. I think that's why I like it, because they make sure when I walk in the door, here comes Sammy. He's going to be a little needy, but he's going to tip you 50% of whatever his tab is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would have nothing to do that it's easy to walk directly to Boo Radley's afterwards, though.
You know, I have a love-hate relationship with Boo Radley's. Mostly hate and a lot of love. But it's one of my favorite places in Greensboro to go.
Love Boo Radley's.
I troll them online all the time because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Tuesdays, I answer the phone there from 11 to 2. And I did post it on social media. A couple people did call, and I was just f***ing with them. Did little fun things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Best hidden gem in Greensboro.
Oh my goodness. The best hidden gem in Greensboro. Another one of my favorite places to go, and you're going to start to see a pattern here. China Best.
Okay.
The best egg rolls, the nastiest, cheapo Chinese food. Sign me up. I'm here for it.
And maybe you're talking about the trend of China's Best, like right in the same strip. Right
It is okay. You see this. You see the trend. I don't venture too far out of Greensboro anymore. If I can't take a $6 Uber to a shopping center and I have Chinese food, hamburger for after I'm drunk from going to booze, it's all right. Everything you have is right there.
I got you.
But also Lake Brant, beautiful.
Yeah,
$12 for a kayak. You just float on out there for a couple hours. A lot of people go, but it's also one of my favorite spots.
It's peaceful out there too.
So peaceful, so clean.
There's some good trails around there.
And the place is clean.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I always forget to go up there.
I have an inflatable kayak, and I smoke, so I just can't wait to blow that thing up and go out there and light one up, and then I ain't gonna wear a life jacket. I might not come back.
Hey,
do not come find me.
All right, favorite local event or festival?
I don't like to hot. I don't like to get hot. I don't like to sweat. So I tend to only do things in public at nighttime. After working all day, you got to go home. You got to take a nap. Got to reset. But anything that Stonewall puts on, I like to attend those. It's real fun.
Stonewall.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's Stonewall Sports. We do kickball, volleyball. We even have, I think it's dodgeball as well. It's just the LGBTQ plus IA, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Anyone can come and play, and it's pretty much essentially like a charity kickball league. So all the money, your registration fees, it all goes to charity.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You helped start that, right?
Yeah, it was 2014. I was bartending at the time, and I threw parties at Green Street with Grady Green and Brian Lewis and Kyle Price. You probably know all those people I just mentioned.
Heard the names.
Yeah, we all worked at Green Street, and on Sundays, there really wasn't like a gay space. I mean, Warehouse 29 had just closed down, so there was really nowhere for people to go without leaving town. So Grady thought it would be a good idea to kind of like have like service industry night that quickly turned into Sunday Fun Day. Oh, and the parties we threw. So I threw parties. We threw foam parties, paint parties, drag performances. We really created that open space. And I had a lot of friends from that circle. And then I was approached in 2014 to help it gathers some money because I knew a lot of people in the service industry who own bars, who had sponsorship money. So when all that sponsorship money came in, I think we launched Kickball, and it originally started in Washington D.C. They would play in the mall up there.
Okay.
Huge tournaments. And I'm talking like these dudes were Clydesdales, like 6'7", 250 solid muscle, all playing kickball. And then I think Raleigh was the next city. And I may be wrong, but then Greensboro became the next one.
Okay.
And then it became Charlotte, Asheville. And then it's quickly spread all over the United States. And like once a year, they play in a tournament. I think the next tournament is actually coming up in the Twin Cities. So all these people from all across the United States is going to go and play in a variety of sports. And North Carolina is the only state that has all the major cities play it. So we have an all-star tournament. So we all get together, raise money. We throw on these events. It's a super good time. I'm very proud to be a part or to have been a part of something amazing that will allow me to hang out with people that I would have never normally crossed paths with.
Yeah.
And some of my best friends play for the sports.
That's actually been one of the most rewarding things about this podcast. There are a few people who have been on that I may have never crossed paths with. And
Isn't it fun?
It's cool to get to hear their story. And me and you have known each other for years, but I'm hearing things today that I've never heard before.
Because we're usually drunk somewhere, laughing and having a good time and not really having serious conversations unless I text you, Andrew, I want to buy this house, make it happen. And you say, okay, Sammy, I can make this happen.
Yeah. All right. One more question for you. I'm a newcomer to Greensboro. What do I need to know about this city?
Greensboro is an amazing city. It's a beautiful place. I highly recommend it to anyone. You're 3 hours from the beach. You're 3 hours from the mountains. And you are an hour from every major city this place has to offer. They don't call it the gateway city for nothing. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, behind the gates. A play
Behind
on
the
Gate
gates.
City.
Oh, is that where the name comes from?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that where the name comes from?
Yeah.
Whoa, do you see my full circle moment that I just realized in my head? Okay. It is the gateway city for a reason. And a lot of people from up north are moving down here. I'm getting people calling me who have seen my TikTok videos. Hey, where are you located? I'm in Greensboro. All right, send me the address. I want to come tour. You get a lot of Northerns moving down here.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is great for the economy. And I think Mayor Nancy Vaughn is doing an amazing job.
Hashtag Nancy.
Hashtag Nancy, we love you.
We don't get political on this show, but we like Nancy. We like Nancy.
I like me some Nancy.
I have some good friends that are big supporters of hers. Know some family there. So we're gonna transition to TikTok in a second. You brought it up.
No.
So we're gonna get to that. But I think it was Greensboro, and I don't know the statistics. We were one of like the top 5. I should know this as a real estate agent, but it changes so frequently. We were one of the top 5, I think, states that were being moved to, and a lot of it was, cost of living, Raleigh and Charlotte being huge. Now Greensboro, I think the new report, we moved into the top 25.
Yes.
Number 23, I believe.
The Carolinas is the top 25 place to live in the country.
Well, we had like 4 different cities alone, and like Hickory was one of them.
Everyone's moving to the Carolinas.
Yeah, Greensboro, Raleigh. Obviously, Charlotte and Raleigh have been on there for a long time.
Forever.
We broke in the top 25. I think Hickory was in the top 25.
And I think Raleigh being a very expensive place to live, one of our sister properties, the apartment's probably the size of this room, and that included the sink, the toilet, and everything. Super high. I think the rent prices in Charlotte are too high. Everyone's just kind of like migrating this way. Do you remember before they built the Tanger outlets in Mebane? No one lived in Mebane.
Dude, Mebane's...
I didn't even think Mebane was there. Like you all the way to Raleigh, you just pass through like an old rickety town.
McKay's just moved. I mean, have you been to the new McKay's in Mebane?
No, I have not.
It is insane. You got to go. It's
on
insane.
The way to Mebane now. How many new construction apartment complexes are you passing before you even get to the Tanger outlets?
They're all over the place. And look at the new construction in general. I mean, D.R. Horton, Windsor, some of these builders that build at a high level. I mean, Keystone built apartments out there. Keystone builders, and it's like, dude, is it Mebane or Meban?
It's Mebane.
That's what I say.
It's Mebane. Well, we're from here, so
but Mebanites, like this is the thing. Mebanites,
Yeah.
the downtown scene in Mebane is small, but people love it there.
And it's going over into Burlington. It's crossed over into Graham. So the whole ride down 40 is just shopping centers, malls, apartment complexes, restaurants, the whole strip down there.
Yeah.
And I noticed because we had a property in Salisbury, real hole. The owner was I tell people I'm so sorry because I wanted to do all this stuff. He didn't have any money, but even Salisbury is popping up because of the traffic from Charlotte is being pushed up 85 the other way towards Greensboro, and now you're starting to see more construction coming out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so. Sammy, thanks for sharing all that. We just went down.
Yeah, sorry, I get a little.
It's fine because any chance I get to go down a rabbit hole about Mebane, I enjoy because I just love Mebane. Hashtag to my buddy Matt Tanner if you ever watch this. He lives in Mebane and love Mebane. We actually sponsor Eastern Alamance right there. We help sponsor their wrestling tournament every year. Mason, my buddy's son, is graduating, so I would still love to help them. I don't know that we will. It was supporting friends and family, but it's been fun. So I always go out to wrestle in high school, so I go out there and watch. It's a good time. Love Mebane. TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. You've told me I need to get one. I'm not going to get one. I'm just not doing it. But tell me about. So Sammy has 70,000 followers and growing on TikTok. Millions of views, millions of likes, yada yada.
Millions and millions and millions of views on these TikTok videos.
How'd you get started in that?
Okay, so over COVID, TikTok blew up. Everyone was stuck at home. Everyone's doing the silly dances.
Moves,
I don't dance.
Cinnamon challenges. That was a long time ago.
That's insane. I used my platform, or I started making videos just to be silly, like everybody else. Nothing ever came of it. While everyone was at home, I still had to work. I was an essential employee. Residents need, they weren't allowed to come to the office, but I still had to collect the rent or help them sign up for the HOPE program because to avoid evictions. I took the extra, hey, I'm in the office. Let's fill out this paperwork, wear your mask kind of thing. I started making videos of my move outs, and I started making educational videos about my move outs, and the comments and the views just went wild. People are surprised how people leave their homes or the condition that I find their apartment in. Even when I come onto a new team, people eat that up, and they're in the comments. How does someone live like that? Or I can't believe they punched all those holes in the walls. Or what happened to the carpet? It's actually insane. And I'll send you the link to the videos so everyone can.
We'll get your
little
so
handle up there
you for sure.
It was 2 years ago. This lady come to the office. She turned in keys. Says I'm moving out. I said okay. I take her keys. I go to her unit. I could not open the front door. I did a 5-part mini series of this hoarder apartment that got millions of views, all these likes and comments. And I showed what it takes to flip a unit. And that went completely viral. And I saw that there was no one else was really posting this. Where I talked about mental health. I had links to mental health websites if this is happening to you. People were just watching it, and to take something that looked like that, and I did here's the final video. The apartment looks completely different, and it was rent ready. It took 3.5 months to get that apartment ready. It was a complete trash out. It was a gut job, new countertops, new appliances, carpet, flooring, walls. It had to be treated for pest control 8 times because roach was all over the wall. It was insane.
Roach shit is real, by the way.
Yeah.
I got a home inspection back, and we were looking at something, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I sent it to my inspector and was like, what is going on? They're saying this is mildew. It doesn't look like. He goes, Andrew, you're going to laugh, but that's actually cricket.
Yeah, it's little black spots on the wall.
Yeah. All right, so the 5-part mini series. So like what I'm hearing is you're who you are, you're good at what you do, and you're doing these TikToks, you're just having fun with it. And then at one point at the time you might have not even realized it.
I had no idea.
But in my opinion, what you did is you took who you are and you didn't lose your authenticity. That's a tough word for me to say. Then you started packing in value. Right? Now I'm going to bring value to the conversation.
Educational. People don't know.
Stuff while I'm doing that. And then I'm also passionate about mental health. So I'm going to use my platform to talk about what I'm passionate about. And I think that's what we lose in content creation too often. We lose who we are. We try to be somebody else. In the midst of all that, we forget that like we got to bring value to this video. People need to watch this. Hopefully somebody watching this is seeing value in meeting people in Greensboro and learning about the city and whatnot. All the while, I'm not losing who I am as the host, right? And I think what I hear is when you put all that together, who you are, what you're passionate about, and you brought value, you blew up.
Yes, I love renovating apartments. Not only managing them or trying to coach and train or take on new clients, I like taking these apartments that look horrible. People blew them up, literally, and they're trash. And I like taking something like that and making it beautiful and making it worth something for someone who needs something. And when people come and they see me and it's not a good fit, I give them a recommendation of places to go. If this ain't for you, these people are my friends and I renovate these apartments or I worked at these apartments before. I know the manager here. I know the manager there. And I think this would probably be a better fit. Or if you don't like this here, please check out my list.
Yeah.
And it's completely free. And when people come and see me and they want to take a tour, and I ask them, one of my questions is I always ask them is, where else have you looked?
Yeah.
Where else are you looking? I'm just curious. I'm not going to tell you wrong. I'm not going to try to persuade you. I give you tips. When you go here, ask them about this, 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 and this. Look at this, 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 and this while you're there. Pay attention to the price sheet. Look for the additives. How much are they charging for pest control? How much are they charging for your trash? How much is there an amenity fee? Look at the windows. Are they new windows? Are they old windows? And I think a lot of people really appreciate that. And they end up staying with me because I am open and honest. And I think a lot of places, especially in Greensboro with these management companies, they are tacking on hidden like trash fees and pest control fees that, they advertise their rent as $900, but there's like $500 of fees attached to this. And that's just an example. Once again, I like whole numbers. It's happening.
I love you saying that. I don't mean to cut you off. I will forget, and I want to put this little nugget in there. Going back to my new home sales, right? I'm not going to say any company names.
Yeah.
I love where I started. I learned a lot. The people there that are still there are incredible people. I was not made for corporate life. And I know you've mentioned to me that you're not, and I know that too. You can't recreate this.
You can't.
But what I will say is we competed a lot. We were a larger builder. And, people always kind of had and what I learned is when I was going out and doing I had to know what my competition was doing. Not to trash them. I learned that quickly. When somebody came in, what other builders have you looked with? Well, we were over at so-and-so and so-and-so. Oh, I know so-and-so over there. They're great. I love them. They're fantastic. Let me tell you what they do well. And I would tell them what they do well. And then it would just naturally come back to what we do well. And by the time I talked about what they did well and left a good taste in their mouth about that competition and then brought it back to us, they started seeing what we did better, or if I was just a cooler person to work with. And I can't tell you how many times, like before we even walked in the house, talked about price, how many bedrooms, where is this, what is that, what's the HOA? Those people were already in. Like they were ready to buy and they hadn't even seen anything yet. So I love to hear that you shout out your competition and you talk about the things that they're doing well. And hey, I might not be the right fit for you. I'm not always the right real estate agent for somebody. But if this is what you're looking for, you got to call my buddy Sammy. He's awesome, and I think you'll vibe and you'll be great. So I love to hear that. Anyway, I digress.
You're kind of the. I don't mind talking shit about the competition, and I have talked shit about the competition in open spaces because I feel like people deserve to know what these other management companies are doing or not doing. And I promised before I came on this podcast that I was not going to name any names.
I appreciate that.
But they know who they are. And because I had friends work for them. I would never work for them, ever. There's a list of 7 places I will never work. And they have asked me to join their team. And I refuse to do so. Just on principles. I'm not, it's 95 degrees outside. I'm not wearing no khakis. I'm going to throw on these short shorts and let these legs sell this apartment. I'm joking. But I like being me. I like being comfortable. And I think it comes across with sales or leases, like you were saying.
That's awesome, man. Well,
so TikTok right now is 78.8 thousand followers.
And
I love it. I don't care if you have 1 follower, you have 200 followers. The number doesn't matter to me. The content matters to me. As long as I'm putting out the content, watch it or don't watch it, I don't care.
It's the engagement.
I love the questions. I have people inboxing me because my link tree is up there asking me questions. What about this? What about that? That's a good idea. Can I come here? Can you send me some more information on this layout? Can you? I'm moving out of my apartment next month. They send me a picture. Is this normal wear and tear? A lot of places, and I want everyone to listen to me. When you move out of your apartment, ask for a pre-move out inspection so you're not hit with any surprises. Let's say you lived in that apartment for 7 years, right? And you move out. Do not, in the state of North Carolina, do not let that management company charge you for new carpet replacement. Shelf life of a carpet is 6 to 7 years, and you charging them for total replacement is illegal and wrong, and you should not do that. Right? Or charge them for paint at 7 years. You kind of want to charge them, hey, did you destroy my appliances? Yeah. Are my blinds broke? Yeah, don't charge. Blinds are $30. I'd much rather go for the amazing review online and for them to tell their friends and family what a great time they had there and they had fun and not try to charge them because you have to provide them with receipts. If you outsource the job, you have to say, this is how, like trash outs. That's different. Get all your out of the home. That's number one. Because once I get that invoice for the trash out company, I'm giving you the bill. Mm-hmm. And it's going to get sent to collections along with pictures. But the other things that my comments are full of, I moved out of my home. I lived there for 8 years. I got charged for this, and this, and this. And I'm like, well, did you ask for a receipt? Itemized copy of receipt? Because you can't just sit in your office and make up random charges.
Yeah.
And I think that's where me and these other corporations here in Greensboro, that's where I draw the line. And I would tell people, you shouldn't have been charged for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and somebody who does the business on a much lower level, I mean, I learned quickly, hey, if I'm going to go, and this was in my college rentals, I tried to do a blanketed that I thought was super fair. Hey, I'm just going to hold $75. We had the place clean. You did a good job. Mm-hmm. We had a few things we had to tighten up, and we think that's fair. Mm-hmm. And this was a house with 5 students. Mm-hmm. I got a call back from one of the parents. Hey, I know it's only $75, but they were pretty good. Like, yeah. What happened? So I started looking at the process, and I was like, man, I really feel like this is justifiable, but I didn't do enough diligence on the front end to make it justifiable. So I gave them their money back.
Absolutely.
And my client understood, but I learned a lesson there. One, if I'm taking people's money, it's not just because it's $25 or $300. I need to justify that. That's their hard-earned money. Mm-hmm. This has been their home. And look, we both know that there's just some opportunities where people, not opportunities, but situations where people treat the houses like trash, mm-hmm. and they don't deserve any of their security deposit back.
Right. And they probably deserve to pay more.
Yeah. But we still have to justify that. Mm-hmm. If I've got 7-year-old carpet and I'm just replacing it because it's a life cycle, and I'm charging you for one stain you put on it. That's bullshit. Now, now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I just replaced the carpet before you moved in, and you've been there for a year, and it's disgusting,
you have to prorate per year. If you spent like $6,000 on carpet replacement, they've been there for 1 year. You have to prorate the cost of the carpet for 1 year.
Yeah,
kind of like what you do with rent. And I think there's a couple lawsuits out there that every time I go to these legal seminars, I hear about a new lawsuit, a new class action lawsuit. And I leave there more terrified, like, wait, did I do this correct? Did I not do this correct? I am highly educated, everyone. So I do go to these continuing education classes, which are super, very informative of like what's the new law now.
Yeah.
And I try to incorporate that in my videos. Hey, this person, I recently had to move out, and I think as of now, it has 6.3 million views.
Holy shit.
It's a lot of views. It's pinned on one of the top of my pages, but just a couple of the comments is like, who do you get to, who trashes that out? I've never seen apartments like this. What is considerable reasonable wear and tear? And one of my favorite comments is, could you show me what it looks like when it's done?
Yeah.
I posted a video of what it looked like when it was done. It was leased the next day.
Can we,
for someone who didn't even live here?
All right, buddy. I'm going to start wrapping up here.
Oh, yes. We could sit here and talk all day. You know we can.
I know we can. Before we wrap, you know, there's a show, I think most people have heard of it. It's called American Idol. And you have a pretty funny blippet about that. I think did it make the Rolling Stone magazine? What is? Tell us about that.
Okay,
Thomas, we will post the picture. He will not let me post the video.
You're not allowed to post a video. It's been almost 20 years. I'm in college, UNCG, go Spartans. American Idol came to town, right? My best friend at the time, he's a great singer. I didn't want to go, but everyone was going. Yeah. You know, you show up at the Coliseum, and way back in the day, you had to go to the Coliseum. They had all these rows set up, and like they kind of hurdled you like cattle, lined you up by 6, 8 deep rows, and then it was like little, I want to say not really producers, like the next person under the producer, not even that person, but like somebody else, mm-hmm. And you are like singing in front of these panel. And then I'm drunk. I'm gonna be honest, because I had a couple drinks in the car because I didn't even want to be there. I was there to support my friend, and somehow I got hurdled into the audition line. And I was like, you know, I love to have a good time, especially with that many people that was at the Coliseum that day. Oh, I had a blast. They were screaming, hollering, yelling, like cheering me on. For the record, I cannot sing. Okay. I get put to the next round, and the next round was like the next day at the downtown Marriott. And that was with the executive producer. I think his name is Simon, not Simon Cowell, the other Simon. You had to redo everything. Loved it. I said, I can't sing. I don't even know why I'm here. He said, you know why you're here. I said, you're right, I do. And so I go in there, act up. We had a great conversation. I signed the contract. We talked a little bit about hamming it up a little bit. They knew they was wrong for having an open bar. Not an open bar, but the bar was open in the lobby. Keep that in mind. The next day, I go, and everyone's kind of waiting. I wanted to get it over with, so they wouldn't let me go in front of everyone before anyone else got to go, right? There's Paula, Randy, and Simon right there. And I give them the show. I'm about 8 deep of Michelob Ultras. I had a couple shots of Fireball. And I'm just having the best time ever. And they gave me some feedback. And then, like, I think we wrapped up for the day. And then we got to hang out with them. It was his birthday that day. We had cake. It was like 25 of us in a room. And they take not millions, like thousands of people from the Coliseum. And somehow through every round, they break it down to about 25 per city. And we're just chilling, having a good time. My friend can sing. I cannot. But when it aired, they didn't even show his audition. I had, I think it was like 12 to 13 minutes of airtime on national television. It changed my life. People thought I was serious, but like I got to go on a East Coast club tour. I did radio, magazines, and I remember this. I was sitting in English, one of my English classes in college. I got a call from New York. I walked out of class, took the call because at this time my phone's blowing up. People were wanting to interview me. It was Rolling Stones magazine. The Rolling Stones magazine. Flew to Greensboro, did a 4.5-hour photo shoot in my apartment. Article. Heath Ledger's on the cover because he had just passed that year. And I have a full page spread, picture, and article framed in my house. I was in Rolling Stones magazine.
That's incredible. What was the name of the article?
Huh?
What was
Lost Idols.
Lost Idols.
Lost Idols. And it was just, they had picked a couple different other people from that season too, but they had the small picture. I had a ginormous picture and article that was in the Rolling Stones, and I took a picture of it before I came here today to show it to you. And it's actually, as soon as you walk in my house, it's part of my...
Oh, Sammy.
I'm wearing my magic carpet as a towel, whitey tighties, and a black Superman t-shirt.
Because you sang...
I sang Aladdin, I Could Show You the World.
That's what I thought.
And then I remixed it up to some Paula Abdul when I started dancing. So,
Hey.
yeah.
Hashtag
20
Paula.
years ago.
That's crazy.
But I think it kind of launched my brand of who I was in this town. You know, a lot of people liked me. A lot of people fucking hate me. But hey.
What's the phrase? If everybody likes you, you're not being yourself on some level. Is that right?
I got two phrases that I live by. Phrase number one is you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you're the shot of whiskey everyone needs.
Love that.
That's phrase one. Phrase two, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave the fucking room. And those have been my mantras my entire life. You're right. I'm a very eccentric personality. I'm not going to bullshit people. I like to have a good time. Life is too short to be serious all the time. And yeah, and I like to bring joy homes to people who need them. It has been really my biggest passion for the last 15 years.
Well, I love that. And to wrap, you know, knowing that you're here in Greensboro.
I'm back in Greensboro. I just got finished in Florida,
South
Carolina, and Georgia. And my new, where I'm at now, I took on a new project, Amber Ridge Apartment Complex. It's on the corner of Longdale and Cone. It is the views are great. Reviews are great on Google. My prices are good. I don't charge those trash fees, those pest control fees. I include water. I don't charge water. I don't sub-meter water. And guess what else? Your gas is also included. So you're literally just paying your rent and living your life like you should be. The owners are great. They're from Milwaukee. I have a great team. I got a great leasing manager and a wonderful assistant manager. And ever since my TikToks have blown up over the last couple of weeks, traffic is insane.
Yeah.
Applications. Like I got 20 applications that's sitting here talking to you while we do this podcast. No, do they qualify? Do they qualify? Maybe. We'll start to see. But the power of social media and, you know, TikTok has been pretty great.
Yeah. Instagram and also the Facebook. But yeah, I really feel like drop the.
I like to say the Facebook.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe, you know, it's not for a certain generations. So in order to get make sure all your bases are covered with advertising, you got to keep Facebook. You got to keep Instagram. Mm-hmm. You got to keep Snapchat. And now TikTok. I'm just curious what's next.
YouTube too.
I don't doubt. I'm gonna leave the YouTube to you.
Well, we're gonna be on YouTube. So, and then anyway, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me. Thank you, Hugs, for making sure I look beautiful and skinny on this podcast. If not, you will be hearing from my attorney. But this has been such a pleasure, and it has been a great time. So thank you so much.
Yeah, dude. Well, until next time, y'all. Sorry we were gone for a month. We're back. Looking forward to having some incredible guests.
Behind the gate.
Behind the gate, episode 13.
Can we get some sound effects behind that?
Oh, he'll get some sound
Thank
effects. All right, y'all. Peace.